Hello, DJ here, and I'm starting roughly where it all began. So, this is inside of my town hall, better known as the portion that is the church, actually, ironically. But this is where I actually have my first base ever built on this world. So, right here is actually a church now, but originally this was built just as a little bit of a fortress area, and then I built up the walls even more, and then used this area mostly as storage like the whole time. We have a food court through here, and a couple random little rooms which we have since pillaged, kind of stealing a lot of our map room and whatever else from here, as well as stealing all of the music discs to be able to put those into our new storage area. And there's a little bit of a second floor here, not too much. That whole area is empty, but we do have a little area over here with two villagers, ones that we can trade pumpkins and melons to, and one that we can steal all of the bottles of enchantment from. So this is where we were actually getting a lot of our levels when we were first starting this world. So going back down a little bit, we're gonna actually head right on outside, and this is how I always come in and out. Just a little flight path here. And ironically, we've built this tower here twice. I built it once, did not like it, destroyed it, and built this now, which I have since actually come to like. And since we built so many houses here, I actually didn't even put windows or any extra details on a lot of these, but I don't know if I like them. So we're gonna potentially be removing these at some point and replacing them with houses that are actually more to scale as to what we've been building elsewhere. So kind of planning and thinking about that still, but I'm thinking that I fill in the other areas of the castle before we work on that. And a couple of these are based on all the different color variants in the game. So if we actually use our mod for mapping everything out, you can see that each one of these is slightly different colors, and it kind of makes a little bit of the rainbow. Got red, orange, yellow, green, the light blues into blue, purple, and then pink going all the way around. And then coming down here, interestingly enough, we have one of our first builds as well. It's our wool farm. We have actually every wool variant down in here, which we do need to replace all of these shears as they are not being sheared anymore. But I also think that we have a fair bit of each wool, so we don't have to worry too much about it, since we don't use wool too much as a building block anyways. And then we can see the perspective of these towers kind of as we're walking around is kind of insane to look up at some of these builds. Needing to fill in every little gap as well, which is why I'm thinking of remaking a lot of these houses at some point, so that way these gaps don't seem as large. We're able to plan a little bit better than I did originally about 3 years ago when I started this world. Let's actually start back over here again and walk our way up into the castle. Also, I suppose I should explain what was going on here. We have on all four corners, we have these very large, these are actually as large as you can get for nether portals. And we have, this is the south gate, this is the southernmost point. And we have the east one, the west one, and finally the north one on the far side. We do have our walls outstretching all the way around this place. It's actually insane that you can't see them from the far side because of this fog effect, which actually looks really cool with things like that town hall build over there. But as we're walking up the pathway here, you can see a partially built tree here. I'm wanting to do a like weeping willow style tree here, but I have not worked too much on how to build trees, so we're going to use some tutorials and figure out how to make that a little bit better here in the future. And we do have a little bit of like potential of using these as like uh, guarding posts, as well as like maybe these could be pulled up by these ropes. I don't really know how this is all supposed to work, but it looks pretty cool, so that works for now. And we do this little trick here using redstone or string. You can actually make it so that those areas are not spawn proofed even when they are not lit up. Then this absolutely grand gatehouse is inspired by an actual real life castle. I forget how to say the name of it, so I'm gonna pause and leave that out for now. But if you do know it, maybe comment that in the comments there, and maybe you'll help me and some other people out as well. This is a little bit of where our barracks is. I'm not one for doing a lot of interiors, so as you can see, that is not complete there. Then as we head on in, you can see how grand this castle looks from the low side, other than needing a couple more windows at the high side of that. And then, like I said, interiors is not a must for me, so things like that do not have an interior either. But as you can see, a couple little windows have interiors here. So what's going on here? What's all with all the crazy colors? Oh, Alpha Wolf the Jester. That makes sense. The Jester's room, all crazy colors, kind of got that creeper pattern going on, as well as like a little bit of a dragon. Yeah, dragon template going on, I guess. And over here we have the medic bay, looking fantastic. And then we have May, the medic, over here, brewing up some potions and stuff, healing everyone in the castle, making sure that we're all safe to go. If we head on over this way, this is where the dining hall will be going once we build that out. And then we have the absolutely beautiful, grand throne room, which is, I love this so much. So as you can tell by my description of it, I absolutely love that place. This is Alpha the Jester. That's why she's got the crazy head and everything, trying to make Queen Rosalina laugh. We got Prince Bartholomew up here. Got Prince Cold Soup, Addie the Nanny. This is Ewan the Pirate King. Then we have a couple of standby people. And then we have Midnight over here, just chilling in the corner. Oh, I forgot. Almost forgot. we do have an area back over here, which is Chef Bailey's kitchen. Which we have Chef Bailey down in here, cooking up all the good food for the whole castle as well. And as for the higher layers, there really isn't anything built out too much, as well as some of these rooms. Like, we have the basis of them built, but we don't have any furniture or anything in there. So we'll just pass right on by pretty much all of the castle. And people ask me, like, why do you build such a big building if you're not going to build out the interior? And for that I say, don't worry about it. So yeah, we're just working on it, and that's okay. That's okay. Everything's a work in progress. As you can see with this, we're actually removing all of our auto sorter here to be able to move all of our items down below. And what do you mean down below? Isn't this the basement? Yes, but no. This is the true basement. So we have a little bit of a clean look to this with the new white concrete put in here. I'd say new because I just have been working on this portion. Not new because concrete is new. It is not. I don't even know how many years ago. Probably like 6 by now or more. But we have different sections. Like, this is going to be auto sorting all the wood variants. We have a section over here that will be auto sorting all of the color variants. And then this right here is for all of the food variants, which we can look into this chest and see. Oh, yeah. Get to have all of our food there that we want sorted. Then we have the odd sections like this. And if you know me from TikTok, you know what this is. If you don't know me and you're new to this whole situation, then you're like, well, why do you have so much different little areas for armor? And this explains it right here. So we're collecting the durability numbers 1 through 26 on that one. We're actually going to do 1 through all 91 throughout the whole thing. So each one of these explains if they are complete, if they are partially complete, or if they haven't even been started. So blue means complete, red means partially, and purple means that they haven't even been started. And as for this area, as you can see, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different sections that are missing. Oh, wrong chest. There's one back here. These 2 we actually have for the bottom section, so we are missing only 3, but I didn't have enough lanterns to be able to fill that all the way out just yet. And you might have noticed by now, but there's this very large pillar in the center of this that just looks like some sort of power cell or something. But that is actually just a mob farm. It pushes them off with some water, and then they fall into that pit where the items get collected, and then they get shipped right back through that pillar up to our auto sorter, as well as the items from this. So this is a bamboo farm, and we have a ender pearl stasis chamber up top here, so that way this is always loaded, because I need a lot more wood for all of the storage areas that we're going to need for this area. And we can head right back up, which we have this nice little water elevator, which I actually built like yesterday after wasting way too much time and way too many rockets going up and down, up and down. But hey, you live and you learn, I suppose. And if you're new to my series, you may not have seen this pirate island before. So I actually have built a full video on the building of this progress and how it all worked out. So if you want to know more about the pirate island, please do go check that out. If not, here's a little overview. I won't get into too much of the lore or anything, but you can kind of see we got little shacks over here. We got a little outpost. We have the we have the port over here, as well as the lighthouse. Why couldn't I think of the word lighthouse? That's interesting. But yeah, we have also custom built out almost all of the terrain here to be able to level it out mostly for new builds. And as you can see in the distance over there, we have that westward portal, as I explained, and then this is the north portal, as well as the absolutely beautiful cathedral over there. And the warden balloon, if you didn't see that in the distance as well. That is there. So let's fly on over, because there is a large portion here that has not been built out, which we can kind of pass over fairly quickly. And here we are. Alright, so as you can see, we have a very interesting, I can actually go into free cam, which will allow us to check this out a little bit closer. We have a very interesting window here with the use of many different stairs to create this beautiful pattern, which actually matches perfectly with the reference image that I had been using, which I am absolutely in love with. And we were actually able to fully transpose that on the interior with diorite as well, which this can also showcase. The whole interior of this building is built out with diorite to make the interior white and pure, as the exterior is looking all dark and drab, which is actually kind of insane. And then eventually this whole pillar here will be fully oxidized, but this is, since we built it from the bottom to the top, it is slowly oxidizing as we are hanging out in the area, but it is not yet fully complete. And as that kind of shows off the whole castle, let's head on into the nether, which is where we can get access to a lot of our other builds, which I think I fully explained most of what our area is there in the overworld, so we're not going to cover any other portions of the castle in this video. Now, needing to head through this portal, we are actually going to end up in the stronghold, which is not the normal stronghold that you come to know. It is actually a fully rebuilt stronghold, made bigger and better with our portal in the center. Didn't mean to rhyme that, but that works very well. And if you haven't seen this video as well, it is on TikTok, being able to remove this whole section. I believe I also have it on YouTube here, but if not, you can go check it out there. And the whole interior of this has been built out as well, with remaking of one of every room. So we have the pillar room, we have the fountain room, the normal just kind of open area, whatever, the storage room, as well as like a spiral staircase there. We have a prison cell, which has a geode that broke it open, which is why we don't have any prisoners in here. And then we have the staircases going up and down, as well as the bridge. And then finally, but definitely not least, we have the library looking absolutely fantastic. That'll bring us right back to where we were, which we can jump on in to the end. And ever so simply, I have a Enderman farm over here, which is about as simple as you can get, but they all just try to attack that Endermite over there, and then they'll pile up and we can kill them. They don't take damage beforehand, but that's okay considering there are so many of them that we don't really have to worry about one-shotting them too terribly much. And we only have 2 end gateways so far, but near one of these we actually have a shulker farm as well, which I am not going to showcase at the moment. Which I did say that we weren't going to come back to the castle, but this is where I slept last, so let's go right back into the nether to be able to check out a couple of our other builds. We have about 2 more to showcase, the jungle temple as well as the desert temple. And as we're coming through, needing to check which direction I'm looking in. Alright, this is the proper direction. So we're able to head off into the distance to where our jungle temple is, first and foremost. Our jungle temple is built with the jungle temple as it was at the top of a newly built absolute monstrosity of a cobblestone build, but it ends up looking quite nice. Is this kind of ancient look to it. And then I'm trying to figure out what style of buildings I want to do around the way. But we have a little bit of a mine here. And then we'll have kind of the village built out all the way around this. And we'll terraform a little bit around too to make sure that this looks great with its terrain. And then maybe make some little boats and little whatever else around it. But the main portion of this and why this is kind of cool is that each layer of this actually has its different challenges. So we have different maze rooms. Eventually what I want to do is have a area with a bunch of pressure plates and different arrow traps. And then final and foremost, we're going to have the treasure room with kind of a character or demonic being of sorts that we're gonna be having to fight, in quotation marks fight, because it'll be built out of blocks, so it won't be too terribly spooky, I suppose. Then heading back into the nether, I'm needing to figure out which direction I'm heading in. Alright, we're wanting to go in this direction. To go to our last, but not least, definitely not least, the the pyramids of Giza. I was gonna say the pyramids of Pisa, but hey, that's way off. Anyways, oh, this is actually the wrong portal, because the portal that we're looking for actually has gold blocks around it. So we're gonna go a little bit further and off to the side. I can actually see we have a little bit of a green pathway here. You can barely see it, and then you can see the torch at the end there, which actually leads us perfectly to where we need to go. And you'd think by now, after going back and forth so many times, I would know exactly where some of these things are, but sadly, they're still a little hard to find at times. To actually land inside of the largest pyramid, which looks absolutely insane from the interior. It looks like a different world completely, absolutely covered off. It looks like it could be a Hunger Games map or something of the sorts, but I assure you, it is not. I believe it's Khufu and Khafre, so this would be the Pyramid Khufu of the Pyramids of Giza. You can always correct me too if I say something wrong. Please do correct me in the comments. But this pyramid is 230 meters from corner to corner, and I mean the long way, just right here. And that is exactly how big it is in real life. And then this one is our second one, which is built 218 meters from corner to corner. Exactly as big as it is in real life. And we're currently working on leveling off the desert around it, so that way its terrain will actually be matched to what it is in real life. Being able to see all of these, maybe with Distant Horizons or another mod in the future here, is going to be quite insane, especially once we finish off and build the Sphinx over here. So if you have the Sphinx with the two pyramids in the distance, I think that's just going to look fantastic. And that kind of completes the overall quick little tour of the world. So I hope you enjoyed. And if you did, please sure to like and subscribe and turn on that little bell if you want to see even more of my videos in the future. Appreciate you guys and hopefully have a great one. Until next time. Bye-bye.